What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Blake's Take with me, Blake Neiman. And it didn't take long for the millions of brackets for the NCAA tournament to get busted. Underdogs rose up to the challenge, leaving championship favorites stunned in defeat. Starting off with none other than the shocker of the tournament in 15 seed St. Peter's, taking down number 2 Kentucky to claim their first ever NCAA tournament victory. In David versus Goliath fashion, the Peacocks were able to bust millions of brackets nationwide, including my own, as many, including myself, believed that Kentucky was going to be a Final Four caliber team. But unfortunately, they got home sent packing early. But this Cinderella story doesn't end there, as the Peacocks once again stunned another team from Kentucky. This time, it was the number 7 seed, Murray State, to become just the third 15 seed in history to advance to the Sweet 16, and the second straight since Oral Roberts did it just last season. This small school from New Jersey is fearless and has been playing their best basketball as of late. In this tournament, it's all about heart, and these Peacocks sure have a lot of it, which is why they are going to be ready to rise up to whatever challenge they have in front of them. Some of the other teams that have been making lots of noise are ones that almost missed out on the tournament entirely. Michigan has been throughout the year an up and down program that has faced lots of adversity, including when their coach Guam Brown got suspended earlier this season, and it's been one heck of a ride just to get here. But they made the best of it, and they made a statement-making victory over the SEC champion Tennessee Volunteers to eliminate them. The Wolverines weren't the only ones in the bubble creating havoc among the Southeastern Conference, as 10 seed Miami was able to knock off the longtime regular season number 1 team in the Auburn Tigers. The Hurricanes commanded the game from the start and never looked back, as they were able to hold the Tigers to just 30% from the field and clamped up the potential number 1 overall pick, Jabari Smith, to just 10 points on 3 of 16 shooting. Miami wasn't the only ACC team causing havoc among brackets, as North Carolina became the first team to send a 1 seed packing this tournament, as they were able to take down the defending champion Baylor Bears. The Tar Heels almost blew a 25-point lead, but managed to hang on and secure the upset bid in overtime. This now sets up UNC against UCLA in an old-fashioned blue blood rivalry. Many of their fellow blue blood brothers outside of Kentucky are also still in the mix, as both Duke and Kansas were able to take care of business and advance to the Sweet 16. Duke definitely got quite the scare from today against Tom Izzo and Michigan State, but thankfully for Coach K's sake, were able to put together arguably their best stretch of basketball of the season to keep their national championship hopes alive. So taking a look now at the 16 teams that remain, we must take a step back and see how each of the Power 5 conferences have been represented. The SEC was expected to bring the deepest talent out of all the Power 5s, since they produced 3 of the top 3 seeds in the tournament, with many having the possibility of a championship run. Shockingly, after just the first 2 rounds, all of those teams have been eliminated, along with the 2 6 seeds from the SEC in LSU and Alabama, who each got bounced in the first round thanks to upsets by Notre Dame and Iowa State. This leaves Arkansas as the only team left in this tournament from the SEC. Who would have expected that? Not me. As far as the Big Ten, they were able to qualify more teams than any other conference with 9. But despite their hefty showing originally, only 2 remain in the Sweet 16, in Purdue and the underdog Michigan Wolverines. Outside of number 3 Wisconsin falling to Iowa State, we could have seen the other results coming, as unlike the SEC, many of the Big Ten teams were not favored to win in their matchups. Illinois lost to a studly Houston team, Ohio State fell to the Big East champions in Villanova, and Tom Izzo and Michigan State, despite a valiant effort, just weren't able to outlast Coach K and the Blue Devils. Probably the biggest shocker came when the Big Ten tourney champion Iowa Hawkeyes, who were seen by many as a team that could make a run to the Final Four, got knocked out of the tournament in just the first round by the 12 seed Richmond Spiders. The Pac-12, while may have only brought 3 teams to the big dance, 2 of them in reference to UCLA and Arizona are still dancing into the Sweet 16. This leaves the Big 12 and the ACC, who were representing very well, with 3 teams still left in the Sweet 16 from each conference. Kansas and Texas Tech have each continued to live up to the narrative they have built for themselves all season long, while the Iowa State Cyclones have come out of left field and managed to put a great string of games together. As far as the ACC, UNC is continuing their momentum from their win in which they beat Coach K in his final home game, while Miami is feeding off their energy on both sides of the ball, which is helping them make the U relevant once again. And then finally, there's Duke, who is playing each game the hardest they can play, with the most amount of pressure more than any other team, and they are just trying to do everything possible to keep Coach K alive and give him one more sweet national championship. There's still plenty of basketball left to be played, so it will be interesting to see who moves on and who gets sent home. Lots of stuff going down in March Madness. I'm impressed by the Cinderella story that St. Peter's has made. Who would have thought that? That's really what busted many brackets, but there's also several other double-digit seeds that are still in the mix, like Michigan and Miami. So it's really anyone's for the taking right now, as no one seed is safe and no team is safe in March Madness. So I'm excited to see how things play out and where each team ends up in when it's all said and done. So you can keep up on all that's going on in March Madness and the NCAA tournament here on Blake's Take on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or YouTube. I appreciate all your support. Subscribe and like to stay up to date, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day.